Hello, everyone. Richard Fredrickson in beautiful downtown Joliet. Sunny day today. I don't know what it's like out there right now, but it's beautifully sunny and blue sky decorated in downtown Joliet. We're here at Thayer's 158. Mr. Larry Johnson, Vice President of the Silver Cross Foundation. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Richard.
It's good to see you. My good friend Larry Johnson. We've been around together for over 5 years. Should we say that? I'm delighted to have you down here. We're going to talk about the hospital, going to get a few updates, and we'll do that in just a moment. I do want to make a couple of suggestions for you. You know, we're here usually around the noon hour or right before, and kind of quiet at that time. But you need to come on down. If you're downtown Joliet on business, if you're down, scooting through the downtown area, you need to come on in here for lunch. They've got a great pizza of the day, kind of personal-sized pizza, 4 cheeses it's called. It's delicious, and it's a quick in-and-out lunch. They also have a new item that Chef Nardi put together. It's made with multi-grain grilled cheese and a good cup of soup. And so, if you've got that half-hour lunch or something, come on in. Of course, they've got all the great entrees for lunch and dinner. Perfect place, what I call a destination restaurant, like all our restaurants are in downtown Joliet. You can have tortellini and Big Rick's burger. One of my favorite is the Portobello Swiss burger, and the chicken tender Caesar wrap is delicious. And I want to remind you, put this on your calendar. As a matter of fact, take some action on this. The Cajun Wine Dinner is coming up on April 2nd. It's with Brian Duncan. He's the owner of the Chicago Bin 36. He's a wine connoisseur, and he's got his own restaurant. He's coming here, and there's details to be shared with you. You get a hold of Rick Thayer or Chef Nardi or Mark or Paulie or anyone here who can answer those questions for you, okay? And we'll have the phone number on the screen for you to call for reservations. That's the Cajun Wine Dinner coming up on April 2nd. Are you a Cajun wine connoisseur?
I like the wine portion
wine
of that.
part of it, I do too. I do too. Well, maybe we'll be here on April 2nd. We hear a lot of news about the response, reaction, the economy, all kinds of things happening out there, and almost all of it having some kind of an impact on our medical field, and in particularly hospitals. And that's why I wanted you to come by and give us a little update on the Silver Cross Hospital. Right there at 355. You can't see it. It's kind of sitting up on a hill as you're coming down 355. You cannot miss it, I should say.
Really?
It's really there.
It is there.
And it's a great location, by the way. I'm sure that some of the communities are using 355 to get there with their ER people, not the ER people, but their paramedics. And
We're finding our territory, if you will, our service area, is expanding because of the accessibility of the hospital. You have 80, 355.
I use it every day, and it's a great shortcut, and it's perfect. Tell me about 2 areas, I guess, would be of interest to the viewers and to me. The growth of the hospital, how you're doing in that area, and hospitals have to have some sort of commitment to go along with the good, bad, or the indifferent. Share some of that with us.
Sure, Richard. Thanks for asking. Well, of course, I'm not sure your viewers realize it, but on February 26th was our first year anniversary at the new location.
That's why I'm having you on now.
And
we're going to celebrate
I knew
that.
that. And the growth in admissions has just outstripped anything that we could have imagined as well when we were doing our early projections. In fact, admissions compared to 1 year ago are up 26%.
Significant.
And to put that into context, healthcare in general, hospital stays and so forth nationally, are either flat or decreasing. So that's a significant growth. Surgeries are up 16%. Visits to the emergency department are up 13%. The number of babies that were born last year was over 2,000.
I can't believe that. I just can't believe that. You know, that is huge when you when you find out, if you look online, you'll find out that the United States birth rate is 0. And so you're helping out. Not personally, but
No.
2,000 babies a year is phenomenal. It's a huge percentage increase, I would think.
Sure. And I think one of the exciting things that we anticipated a little bit, but not to the level, is how much this has been an economic engine for Will County.
Yeah.
I mean, we've since recently, we've hired over 430 caregivers, nurses, primarily surgical techs. That's a 24% increase in new employees for our organization.
But Silver Cross Hospital has always been a generator, has always been a large employer in Will County, but now you're just, how many folks do you employ?
A little over 2,200. And part of that growth has to do with the number of physicians that have joined their practices to Silver Cross since 2010. We've added probably 300 physicians to the organization. So we're over 700 physicians right now.
Like a 40% increase, something like that, 40, 50% increase. That's phenomenal. Pretty much specialties.
It really goes across the board.
Does it?
It goes across the board, whether it's specialties or primary care physicians. And gradually, those physicians and their patients are migrating to the care at Silver. And I think it's because of our reputation with the level of quality of care that we
So the
provide.
doctors, in some part, become associated with the hospital because patients are probably saying, that's where I want to go.
Exactly.
Okay, I got you.
Exactly.
All right. Then there is, once they're there, they have to see, and you and staff and I'm trying to think of his first name, Pollock. Paul Pollock and his staff need to kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together in terms of expertise and then also in terms of services offered. So there's been improvement in that area or enhancement in that area.
Well, what's really exciting, many of your viewers probably know, we've had a long-term relationship with Lurie Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
And one of the first buildings that opened on the new campus was housed to the Children's Hospital physicians there. We have 29 specialists operating out of Silver Cross. And what's nice about that, Richard, is the fact that if you have a child with an acute ongoing illness, instead of having to travel down to Chicago to get that care, now you're closer to home. You can schedule around your physician visits and so forth, much more convenient to the citizens of Will County. The other thing is, you'll recall that we partnered with the University of Chicago Medicine to open a cancer center. And I know you know Ed Zerkes, our
Yes.
good friend, who was nice enough to donate a considerable amount to name that pavilion after his wife, Carolyn.
Nice guy, and I met, it wasn't long ago before Ed Zerke and John Leach, his buddy, were both in here at Thayer's.
One of their favorite restaurants, by the way.
It really is. It really is. They park right out there in the evening hours and come on in. So thank you, Ed, and thank you, John, for what you do in the community. One of the areas that seems to really be, you see stuff on television and you read it in the paper and online, is about this whole thing about, 40 years ago you never heard about these things, or at least I didn't. Sleep disorders. You have some of that going on as well.
We do. We have the Sleep Disorder Center. We partner with Midwest Respiratory, and it's really it's really like going to a hotel to stay for a night and sleep. The rooms are very accommodating.
Can you get me a reservation there?
We'll do that.
Okay.
But for your viewers, if they're concerned, if they have a loved one that may be snoring loudly,
Yeah.
or seems to be stopping breathing while they're sleeping, that sort of a thing, there is an online assessment that you can go to our website at silvercross.org and see if you're experiencing conditions that might suggest that you should be seen by
Yeah.
a
It's
specialist.
serious stuff. It really is serious stuff. Yeah, it can be. The Fox News on Saturdays have doctors on to talk about various topics. And I don't know when you're watching this, but last week, it was all about the Da Vinci robots, and that only certain clinics and only certain hospitals and only select doctors today can run those, and you have those.
Yeah, it's a wonderful piece of technology, minimally invasive. The physician sits at a control console and performs the procedures. We have, I believe it's 22 physicians that have, in our first year, performed over 250 surgeries, all without any complications. What's nice about that is that patients heal faster, experience less complications, less pain.
Well, the surgeons can see more than they could in past years, because I don't know how it works, but they can see more. I was watching a presentation on Fox. They were showing how the surgery takes place, and it was one of the New York hospitals. And it was really phenomenal to see the difference, the old way and the new way, with the Da Vinci robot. Then there is other areas that you want to also share with us.
Well, what we're really excited about is we've established a neuroscience institute at the center that uses interventional radiology technology to take care of patients. In layman's terms, what you and I would understand, if you come in with a stroke or you've been diagnosed as possibly having a stroke, as a Neuroscience Institute, a certified program in the state of Illinois, from the time that you call that emergency response team, if they suspect you have a stroke, we put stroke protocols in place and line up a team to see you immediately. And with strokes, time is important.
It's of essence,
Because of brain cells dying.
Mm-hmm.
So with the Neuroscience Institute, we can get you in, and depending on what stage of a stroke that you're having, we can intervene using a piece of equipment called a biplane that really maps the head in 2 dimensions, and the physicians that are trained in this can literally go into your brain, into the vessel, and either stop a bleed, which is a hemorrhagic stroke, or remove a clot, and down to the size of a hair.
It's amazing.
So
It's
the
really
results
amazing.
are, and then following that, because of our partnership with the Rehab Institute of Chicago, they take care of all of our rehab facilities, inpatient and outpatient, and they are recognized as a leader in stroke recovery and rehabilitative services. So it's really become a one-stop location to care for this, and it's amazing. They're projecting nationally 800,000 strokes a year.
Oh my God.
So having this resource in this area, it's really one of a kind. In fact, if I could share a story, there was a gentleman who was transporting a car from somewhere in Indiana. He actually lived in Michigan, and he was being followed by a friend in another car. He was down at Interstate 80 and 355, called to his friend in the other car and said, "I'm not feeling well, I'm going to pull over to the road." He pulled over to the road, opened the car door, and collapsed. He was having a severe stroke. He was brought to Silver, and using the biplane and interventional radiology and the procedures we have in place now, he was cared for. He went through the rehabilitation. He's back in Michigan, and he was so pleased with the experience that he had that he's actually commuting from Michigan to come back and continue his rehab. So it was one of those cases where you know you did the right thing in developing this program.
That's remarkable. You have also, continuing with when you mentioned earlier about the Da Vinci robot, but you also have a Center of Excellence for, again, that minimally invasive surgery that would, for...
Right. Recently, our Center of Excellence for gynecological
Yes.
procedures.
Yeah.
And we have 4 gynecologists on staff, and there are really only 2 hospitals in the state of Illinois that are certified to use the Da Vinci in this way and with the quality that they do.
No, that's what I was saying. Earlier, there's not that many hospitals, clinics, or surgeons that are doing this, so it's remarkable that we have it. And aren't you happy we have it right here in Will County? You also have, just so I make sure we cover as much as we can here, for those of you who do not know where this hospital is located, I apologize by not saying in the very beginning. You know, I'm assuming you know where it's at, but where is the location of the hospital?
We're right at Route 6, the intersection of Route 6 and 355.
And you are also, you have that hospital there, but there's also a couple, what would you call them?
Oh, we have the Homer Clinic.
Right, yeah.
That's a freestanding emergency room. Now, that's a little different than your viewers are thinking about urgent care or so forth. The Homer Center is 100% capable of handling emergency patients, whatever the circumstances are. We have various physician offices located around.
Right.
And at the Homer Center, for example, we now are, RIC, the Rehab Institute of Chicago, is also doing physical therapy at that location, as well as the West Joliet location on Essington Road and at the hospital. So people have some convenience there.
Okay. We're going to put the website out there for you right now, so you'll see the because you know, you probably want more information. We're just kind of hitting the mountaintops here, and you can go to that website and get more information on Silver Cross. This is nothing new, but maybe we should at least touch on it. Silver Cross has always had a commitment to the community, and you continue to do that, I would assume?
Absolutely. One of the areas that we committed to when we committed to the move was to care for our family in the neighborhood where we were leaving and where we were coming from. And so to that end, we've made arrangements with the Veterans Administration so that the old emergency room at the Joliet campus will become a veterans clinic with quite a few expanded services that were not available prior to our making that arrangement. Lab work, diagnostic imaging, counseling services. So that was a nice arrangement and partnership that we were able to make. We also work with Aunt Martha's, which is an organization that provides primary care to the underserved and uninsured populations. And they erected a 20,000 square foot clinic, provide dental services, mental health services, primary care services to the underserved and uninsured. Both of those agencies will be opening in the spring of this year. And also, you'll recall that we established an organization called the Healthy Community Commission because we wanted input from the community as to what the needs were. And that particular organization has provided quite a bit of funding for scholarships, $250,000 a year for the past 5 years to provide scholarships to people living in the old campus neighborhood. And currently, so that your viewers are aware, individuals who reside in the 604, 32, 33, 36 zip codes in the Fairmont School District, there are scholarships available for nursing, CNAs, certified nurse assistants, and surgical tech careers. And so they can actually go online if they live in those zip areas. And that's funded in that way.
Okay, well, it's on the website, so you can go there and find out. That's remarkable. You know, Larry, I don't think that's well known. I really don't think, it's the first time I've heard this, and you should be very proud of that kind of a community outreach that Silver Cross has.
Well, I think our history has been that we've cared for the community, cared about the community, and that doesn't even account for the reduced or free care that we provide. I mean, last year it was over $10 million in medical services costs to the underserved or uninsured for direct costs. And when you look at our entire budget, whether it's involvement with community health fairs or screenings, free screenings, our community investment was $47 million. So,
Remarkable. You know, I introduced you earlier as Vice President of Silver Cross Foundation. Tell me about the foundation.
Well, we're the fundraising arm for the hospital. So oftentimes people appreciate having resources like quality hospitals in their area, and they appreciate the value of supporting them. And we are what they call a 501c3 not-for-profit. So donations made to the hospital are tax deductible to the extent of the law, and we've been very blessed when we set out to build a hospital. So far we've received $8.5 million in donations toward that hospital. And you know, it's about schools and hospitals and churches. Yeah. That's what makes a place great to, you know, live, work, and grow.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I'll bet you that gentleman from Michigan, if he wins the lottery, he'll get a good portion of that.
Or he'll get a call from me.
Yeah. Oh, you'll be giving him a call, right? There's another, I don't know if it's under the umbrella of the foundation or not, and I'm not recalling the name of the organization, and my wife's friends will probably pummel me by not remembering, but the ladies who work in the gift shop.
Childer Guild.
And tell us about that organization.
What a wonderful organization. Our gift shop is 100% run by volunteers, and that's the women of Childer Guild. And what that means is they literally go out, they're buyers for the shop, they stock the shop, they do inventory, they sell the goods, and they've supported for a number of years maternal child programs at the hospital. So most recently, the gift to us, they gave $251,000 to support the maternal child programs at the hospital.
Fantastic.
And that's amazing. Yeah. in terms of the result. And they raise that money through the gift shop and through their annual Childer Guild Ball, which takes place in November.
Yeah,
a phenomenal dedicated group.
Yeah.
And that's one of, you know, we have the advisory board that does the Encore shop, the resale shop at the old campus, which is recently purchased a van for us, and we have our King's Daughters, our founding organization. So volunteers are very important to the success of the hospital.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this now, gentlemen. You're not leaving yet.
I'm
not going to let you leave. No, you're not going to be leaving because I didn't do Larry Johnson's bio. I usually do that in the very beginning, and I want folks to know who you are and what you've been doing. For how many years you've been with Silver Cross?
17 years.
17 years at Silver Cross and in the community longer than that. And VP is one thing. That's a lot of work. Are you involved in any other clubs, organizations, outreaches? What have you been up to? What have you been up to, Larry?
Well, I'm past president of the Joliet Rotary and still involved with Joliet Rotary Club, a terrific organization
Big
that's
anniversary.
celebrating 100 years
That's right.
this year. I serve on the Joliet Chamber of Commerce Board, on the Government Affairs Committee, and I'm also the vice chair for United Cerebral Palsy, which is another great organization that just had a successful chef's tasting event over at the Bolingbrook Country
Yeah.
Club.
Scott Slocum does the
He does.
emceeing of that, doesn't he? I've
Very
been there a
fine
couple
job.
times, and always Roger Clare is always there bidding. It's a fun thing to
It is.
watch the bidding going on there from time to time. Great organization and a fun party. That's part of Joliet, Will County as well. I should say all of Will County, because there's so many people, new people, coming on and taking the place and undergirding and supporting great organizations that you've mentioned, and also, of course, Silver Cross as well. Any plans that you have, and anything that we need to tell the folks about, anything upcoming at either the foundation or upcoming things at the hospital?
We do have our annual golf outing for the foundation, and that takes place the fourth Monday in June. So if people are interested, they can come on our website and get information. Fortunately, it's always been a success, and it sells out early. So if
Then get on the website and get in there.
and I failed to mention, of course, you and I have both helped out with Easter seals.
Yes.
Over the
Oh,
years.
sure, yeah,
And,
you always look very, GQ magazine with tuxedo on there, and yes, it's true.
which is another great organization. And I guess I would want people to really think about the importance of supporting our community organizations. It's
Particularly at this time. I mean, they're all challenged out there, and not only the ones we've mentioned, but ones that you know as well are being challenged by the economy today. So they need help and assistance with that. The telethon is coming up. Of course, I don't know the date, but I think it's in April,
sometime.
sometime in April. So watch this channel. We'll probably have the folks on here. Mrs. Strahanowski, I think, is still involved in that, and
Deb Kandani.
Deb is still involved in that. Obviously, we'll have those ladies on now for sure, so that you know the date and time where that, because they do a great telethon, and they do it here on Channel 6, but they also have, now they do it on the internet as well, which has been an expansion of their viewership by going on the internet as well. So the telethon's coming up, golf outing's coming up. Where do you have the golf out?
We hold it at Midlothian,
Okay. Yeah.
which
great.
is the
Yeah.
second oldest course in the Chicagoland area.
You don't have any places where the ground drops and the guys fall in, do you?
Please, I hope not.
You know,
We'll have a lot of doctors there, though.
fortunately, he was okay. That man was okay. That happened in southern Illinois, way south, or Missouri, I think. Maybe it was Missouri, somewhere in that territory. Larry Johnson, thank you so much. Silver Cross is so special to the Joliet viewers and the Will County viewers, and we thank you for taking time up. Busy schedule, busy man. Let's see, today's not